Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome to another Atlantis freediving video. Today's video will be all about freediving fins. So if you are looking to buy yourself freediving fins or you're looking to upgrade, perhaps this would be a video for you. Today location we are at El Varadero. It's a small village next to Tabaiba. It is very beautiful with being very traditional, very typical to Canary Islands, and there's many small villages like this around the coast. We are lucky to have two, El Varadero and Boca Cangrejo, right next to us. This is only about 5-10 minute walk from our dive center. So if you are around and you want to have a look at the way locals live, I would highly recommend to go and have a look at one of these villages to walk around. Let's get to our video today. The topic will be freediving fins. I want to make a generalized video, so this video will be a little bit about the materials the fins are made of and the differences between these materials, how it can help you benefit your diving, which fins you perhaps should be looking at if you are starting freediving or if you're getting a little bit more into it. And yeah, it will not be a promotion of particular brand, so it will be more in general opinion about fins as they are. We're going to start talking about plastic fins. So plastic fins would be something that I would recommend to start with beginners. The reason why it's, well, first is the price. They are very affordable, so perhaps when you're starting freediving you don't want to pay too much for the whole equipment, and this is one way you can easy get into the sport. So getting a plastic fins actually will also help you understand how the fins work, and to build your own technique, because technique is very important. Finning technique with the fins, it will help you to understand what to pay attention to. It will help you to learn correct technique and so on. Now about technique, I want to just make a point that if you go and buy yourself expensive carbon fins and your technique is not maybe the best, then those fins, they will not sort out the problems that you have with techniques, with your technique of finning. So it is better probably to buy cheaper fins and work more on your technique until the point you understand the technique, and then once you get a little bit better fins or maybe a little bit more expensive materials, more performance style fins, you will actually be able to use them better, so you will get much more value out of them. Now, a next thing that I want to mention is the relationship between foot pocket and the blade itself. I have actually fins, the plastic fin here with me. These are example of something that beginners will be looking at, and this particular fin has foot pocket, is detachable from the blade itself. Now a lot of people would, I would hear a lot of people saying, get yourself fins which have detachable foot pocket, because in the future you can buy better blades, carbon blades, and just slip them into them. To that I would say two things. First is you need to make sure that the blade or the foot pocket and the blade are compatible, so they can fit each other. And the second would be what I would be looking at buying fins like this would be actually more the foot pocket than the blades, because once you upgrade the blades and you have good blades, you can actually, the actual foot pocket, if it's not fitting, if it's not good for the blade, it will demolish the value or the performance of the carbon fiber or carbon fiber blade. And what I mean by that is, if you have a foot pocket which is very thick, it's very soft, and it could be very comfortable, but in performance wise it will not be very good. It will be actually making your carbon blades feel like they are not doing their job, and they will feel more or less the same as the plastic blade. So the foot pocket is very important, and don't underestimate the quality of the good foot pocket. So there are companies who are making carbon blades, carbon fins, and they already are using some particular foot pockets. So they're making their blades to fit those foot pockets because they believe that the foot pockets they use or they are using will actually let the material shine. It will give the performance the right way. And there are even some companies who are making their own foot pockets. So these would be more performance fins for competitions and so on. Another material that we want to also talk about is fiberglass. And the fiberglass is quite similar. It's a kind of step between the plastic blades and carbon blades. And what I would recommend fiberglass fins would be for beginners who are maybe not such a big body mass, so the small people or maybe women, kids, because fiberglass material, fiberglass blades, they are feeling much softer in the water, so it is much easier to fin with them. So what we want to understand is how to use the blade, or how the blade works is you have to create a motion by your foot that will bend the blade and that will propel you forward. If you need to create a lot of force to create this bend, you will be wasting a lot of oxygen. It will feel like you are wasting a lot of oxygen, and that will decrease your apnea time. Now, on the other hand, if you have very soft fins and you are a bigger person, you will feel that the blades are just bending really too much and they are not propelling you in the water. So it's the opposite of the spectrum. So what you want to do is you want to synchronize your type, the body type, and the strength that you have with the stiffness of the blades. And that goes same for plastic or fiberglass or carbon fiber. Because there is also in plastic fins, they're not all the same. There are more softer fins and there are harder fins. For example, this one is quite hard, and even though it is quite small shoe size, so it will be fitting girls or smaller people with smaller feet, it's very hard for them. So I don't like to use these fins. We use fiberglass for smaller people, for ladies, and they work a lot better. So yes, this would be something that you have to think about. But another thing also that determines the kind of fins you want to get for yourself is what you want to use them for. For example, if you are using fins for safety diving and you need to bring somebody from the depth to save somebody from drowning or from blackout, you will be changing your body mass underwater, and in that case your fins, if they are soft, they will not be able to help you bring the person up. For this reason, safety divers will be using a little bit stronger or harder blades for this very reason. And also, for example, spearfishers, they will also like to use a little bit harder blades because they will also need to bring the fish up. They will be using equipment in the water, and also a lot of times they will be fighting current and fishing in the places where there is a current. So this is everything you have to take into account. Now, generally for freediving, we are looking for semi-soft blades. So they should give you enough propulsion, but you should not need to spend a lot of energy to get going. Basically the idea is to pick up the speed when you are diving down or coming back up from the dive, and then just maintain that speed all the way up or all the way down for the rest of the dive. So it's more for endurance kind of diving, and also for instructors who don't need to dive very deep normally when they work in. So because they will be diving many dives and they'll be covering a lot of distance during the days, so not to get tired, they would rather prefer to have medium soft, softer kind of blades, so they don't get too tired and they don't really need to dive so deep as well. So this will be the reasons also what you need to consider when getting new fins for yourself. About materials, for example carbon, I have a carbon blades here as well with me. First thing that you notice is how light they are. Obviously carbon is very light material, but these particular fins are very light also because the foot pocket is very light. There is very little material. And one thing that you notice with this foot pocket, as opposed to the maybe other types or maybe cheaper types of foot pockets, will be that the material the foot pocket is made of, even though it looks very soft, it's not stretchy. So this does not stretch. This means that when you are finning, you're applying power into the front part of the foot pocket. This should not be stretching. And the power from your foot, from the ankle and tip of the toes, all the power needs to be transferred into the blade and where you want it for maximum propulsion. So basically you are not wasting any power during the transfer. And this is the advantage of having a good foot pocket. Many times they are tight fitting as well, so they are not moving on your foot at all. And this would be used for competitions and so on. A lot of times this might be sacrificed on the comfort side, but if you're having performance fins, this is how it is. They're not always comfortable. However, there are companies who are making now very good performance-wise and comfortable foot pockets. So you just need to look up on all the different companies that they are to see which one. And the best way I would recommend to anybody would be trying them. So if you go buy yourself a pair of fins, first thing you need to do is you need to check which foot pocket is comfortable for you to use, that you don't get blisters, you don't get cuts. And a lot of times we would use a small thin sock just between the foot pocket and the feet so they don't cut your feet. But for me, I a lot of times use, well, actually all my fins I use without socks, but I would maybe not recommend to everybody. So just check how easily you get cuts and chafing and all that kind of stuff. A lot of chafing will happen also when you have foot pocket which doesn't fit very well. So going around, if you're in a club or if you come into dive center, if you have more people around and you want to try fins, I would just ask, take them for one dive, two dives. Just make sure you don't damage them, and you get to try a lot of different styles of foot pockets, and you might find one that really is fitting you well and is comfortable and you're getting good performance out of it. So with most of the performance fins like this one, you will see that the foot pocket will be attached directly to the blade. So there is no screws here, even though there is a hole for the screw, but it's not screwed on. The reason why is because you want, again, the perfect solid connection between the foot pocket and the blade, which will help the power transfer into the fin. So most of the performance fins are actually solid glued onto the blades, and that's how it should be. So if you want the comfort of being able to detach the foot pocket and the blade for travel reasons or whatever, you will also need to sacrifice some of the performance. There are models which are shorter fins, and they can have also very good performance. So if traveling is your thing and you need to travel a lot and you want to make sure you fit your long fins into your luggage, I would consider also getting maybe shorter pair of fins. However, normally if you have committed freedivers, they would rather buy a bigger bag than get shorter fins, and that's how it is. Well guys, I hope that this short video has shed some light on fins and how they work and what to look for. And there is a lot more to talk about regarding fins. For example, the angles of between the foot pocket and the blade, which is developing now a lot, and the length of the blades and so on. We can get back to it and talk a little bit more about these kind of things and maybe do a fins level 2 video. Part 2. If you would like that, let us know, and if you have any questions about fins, let us know which kind of fins you are using, if you're happy with them, and if you have any questions about your fins, or if you want to get some pair of fins and we can give you some of our experience, we'll be glad to. If you enjoyed the video, like the video, if you like the channel, subscribe. We'll try to come up with more and more content, so make sure you're notified when that happens. And guys, I'm sending you greetings from Tabaiba, from Tenerife. I hope you're doing well and being safe. and sending you some warm sunshine and warm water. Hopefully we'll see each other at some point soon. Take care of yourself and goodbye.